Hi there. I'm excited to share this with you. I'll be releasing one chapter of my first book every week until the entire story is complete. You can listen while you're working, driving, or just kicking back in your favorite spot. Some chapters will be short, others a bit longer, but every one of them is free to enjoy. If it's not your thing, that's totally okay, no hard feelings. But if you like it, feel free to tune in each week or even share it with a friend. Can't wait for the next chapter? No problem. Scan the QR code on your screen to purchase the full book on Amazon. Happy listening.
Chapter 10. Reservations. The next morning, Chad sits on the edge of the bed, talking on the phone to his pastor. He gives him step-by-step replay of all he experienced on the previous night. Click, click, click. I tightened those plastic straps down, and they were locked together for good. I guess it helps that the owner showed up with a shotgun to hold them until the cops came. Oh, and that he gave me those quick-tie cuffs. I hadn't considered how to keep people down once I beat them. I guess I just thought that people stay knocked out until the cops arrive, but now that I think about it, that is kind of stupid. Chad reports. He looks off into the distance as he considers the new revelation of his mindset. It's as if he knew that he thought that way but never took the time to see if what he thought was correct. He begins to wonder if there are other things about his new occupation that he has not thought through all the way, but he stops himself short as he realizes that he is still on the phone. What happened? Did you trail off, buddy? His pastor questions. There is a light air to his words that implies that he is joking, but at the same time leaves an impression that the question is meant to be answered. Yeah, I was gone for a second there. Chad acknowledges. Oh, but I didn't tell you the best part. He exclaims with enthusiasm. I am just about sure that the guys I busted are the same guys that mugged that lady the other day. His pastor chimes in with surprise. Oh, you mean the ones who beat you up in that alley a little while ago? The words, though true, hit Chad like a ton of bricks. He struggles to put his thoughts together so he can respond to the sudden bombshell thrown in his direction. He realizes that his pastor is not trying to insult him but was clarifying the information he had just received. The slight silence alerts the pastor to his faux pas, and he quickly goes into damage control mode. That's not, I didn't mean, I wasn't trying to, I just wanted to make sure, I wasn't trying to insult you or anything. Chad interjects and lets him know that it is all right. He also tells about how the store owner was so grateful that he practically extorted Chad into agreeing to go back tonight. His pastor instantly picks up on the inner turmoil that Chad is experiencing. What's the matter? He inquires with concern. Chad answers. I know that I only agreed because I was in such a hurry and I needed to go, but for some reason, I feel like I should not go back on my word. Failing to see the problem, his pastor asks. Okay, so go. Right? But what if it is a trap? Or some kind of way to find out my identity? It's not smart for a superhero to let people know exactly where he will be. What if he intended good but told the police that I would be meeting him tonight and they are waiting for me? Besides that, the Bible says, watch out. Don't do your good deeds publicly, to be admired by others, for you will lose the reward from your Father in heaven. When you give to someone in need, don't do as the hypocrites do, blowing trumpets in the synagogues and streets to call attention to their acts of charity. I tell you the truth, they have received all the reward they will ever get. But when you give to someone in need, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Give your gifts in private, and your Father, who sees everything, will reward you. I don't want to lose my reward for all that hard work. I know the scripture, Chad, but remember that obedience is better than sacrifice. You better see what God wants on this one. I would. Good morning, honey. Chad blurts out in order to let his pastor know that Karen has just come into the room. No way. His pastor responds. No way. You haven't told her? I thought we discussed this and decided that telling her was best. Well, yeah, but some things came up, and I was not able to get around to it. Chad explains. You have to talk to her, Chad. The pastor says sternly. It was more forceful than Chad was used to, which was a good sign to him that he is way off course with his delay of information. Chad sighs a gentle, "I know," and follows it with a strong "and I will," as if he is affirming to himself that he must do it without fail. Karen looks back at him in curiosity but considers that it might be rude to ask him what he is talking about while he is on the phone. Chad just smiles back at her, knowing that she wants the exact thing that he has been trying not to give her, information. But inside, something wants to come clean right at this moment. It is stopped, however, by an overwhelming dread of the fallout that shall ensue once he does. His pastor lets him know that he has to get prepared for a meeting and ends the conversation, telling Chad to be sure he does what is right and as soon as possible. Chad agrees, but inside, his stomach still quivers and his peace is nowhere to be found. It's not just telling Karen that is taking a toll on him but also his feeling that he needs to go back and meet with Max at the weapons shop. What good would it do to go back anyway? No amount of money or thank you cards can possibly be worth the blessings God will give him for not being rewarded on earth. Christians and especially Chad believe that God will give rewards to those who do what is right for the sake of doing what is right. It is actually expected that Christians do deeds and not receive accolades for them. If a person does something that is not rewarded here on earth, the reward they receive will be great and will come from God Himself. In some cases, the reward will come in this world and in the world to come. Either way, it is normally best that good deeds be done in secret so that no reward can be claimed from human hands. Chad goes to his dojo basement/secret lair and prays to God concerning his situations. In part to get answers and in part to avoid telling Karen what he has been up to. He wants to tell her, but he feels as if he just needs a little more time. As he goes throughout the day handling the mundane duties of life and spending time with Karen, the day drags on. He tries to forget about his word to Max, but he cannot, and he still feels as if he should go to the meeting. The more that time passes, the closer he gets to the point of no return. Trap or not, he will have to make a decision, and soon. About 10 p.m. at Weapons Max. "I gotta get this finished before he gets here. The setup won't work if I can't make this rope retract by itself. I hate rush jobs, but sometimes, you have to do what you have to do. I hope he shows up, or all of this will be for nothing." Max mumbles as he winds cables and pounds metal into place. "This cable is strong. Once wrapped up in this, no one can escape, even if they are super strong." He toils endlessly to finish his work before his visitor shows up. He knows that he will only have a limited window in which to get things done once Jesus Freak arrives. He was handling 3 men at once with his weapon, so let's see how well he handles this. He does not know anything about me or who I am, so I'm sure he has no idea what to expect. I'm sure he will be caught by surprise with this one if he shows. If he doesn't show, I'll just have to hunt him down anyway. But that would suck cause I have no idea where to start. Well, I just hope he shows. Why wouldn't he? I haven't given him any reason not to trust me yet. I wonder if I can go to jail for this. Max continues. The sounds of work are prevalent around the store as Max rushes to complete his plans. Time takes wings, and Max finds himself complete just in time for the arrival of his guest, or at least in time for when his guest should arrive. Max locks up the store as he leaves through the back into the alley where he witnessed Jesus Freak annihilate 3 crooks at the same time. Jesus Freak. He whispers as loudly as possible into the night, hoping that he will step out from around some corner or behind some box. Nothing happens. Max looks down at his watch. The time is 11 o'clock on the dot. "Are you there?" he inquires, looking up into the sky. His words fill the back area, but no reply comes. Max looks around the dark areas trying to find Jesus Freak, but has no luck. His mind reminds him of how long it took him to get Jesus Freak to agree to come back. He considers it and decides that it is best to just go home. He would have to figure out another way to get to Jesus Freak. Max turns and pulls out his keys to go back into the store. "Are you alone?" a familiar voice calls out from an unknown location. Yes, yeah. Yes, I am. I'm alone. Max cries excitedly. Part of him cannot believe that Jesus Freak showed up. Where are you? I can't believe you showed. Jesus Freak replies. I almost didn't. He imitates the low, slow, gruff voice that he used when facing off against Mark's crew to the best of his ability. Dude, that's so awesome. Max geeks out. His voice has light hints of laughter and joy in it as he hears Jesus Freak talking to him. Chad recognizes the sound and tone of the comment. Being a huge fan of all things superhero, he has often had the same reaction to certain things. Is he a fanboy? Jesus Freak thinks. There is a slight pause in conversation and an awkward silence. The silence is interrupted by Max as he regains his composure. So where are you? His voice cracks a little as he speaks. His eyes scan from side to side, trying to find objects that Jesus Freak could be hiding behind. I mean, it's cool if you want to stay hidden, I guess. It's just I got something I want to give you. I could just bring it out and leave it here, but I kind of wanted to explain it too and show you some stuff. Jesus Freak, is it? Can I call you JF for short, as just like a me and you thing, or am I overstepping? 'Cause if I am, I understand. But it would be cool to be able to know I have a nickname for you. You were so awesome last night. His words keep coming like foam out of a shaken soda bottle that has just been opened. There is no pause for an answer to be inserted. It is as if he were having a conversation with himself. Jesus Freak can take it no more and interrupts him mid-sentence. I'm here. He quickly ties his meteor hammer to an anchor point on the roof and uses it to rappel down the side of the building. Max's jaw drops as he sees the sight. His conversation ceases, and he is speechlessly watching Jesus Freak descend. When all is said and done, Max says, JF, dude, that was awesome. Was that your meteor hammer? Did you just use it as a rappel rope? I'm speechless. I'm just speechless. For a speechless man, this guy sure has a lot of words. JF thinks. I don't need a reward for what I do. I am just obedient to my master, and that is my reward. He says. Yeah, that's cool, and I respect that, but maybe he is using me to hook you up. Seriously, you have no idea what you got with me. For instance, let me show you something. Max motions for JF to follow him as he heads back into the store. They walk in the door, and Max elevates his voice and says, Ta-da! His arms direct JF's sight toward an ornate metallic cross in the middle of a display shelf in front of them. JF is not sure what Max is getting at. Is he trying to show me that he is a Christian too, or is this some sort of keepsake he got me as a reward? JF considers. Max is very excited about the reveal. Well, Max verbally nudges. Go ahead and check it out. Jesus Freak looks at the cross and says, It's nice, but I don't need a gift. Max's countenance changes a bit to a stupefied look. You didn't notice the belt on it? He inquired. JF takes another look, and sure enough, the white ornate cross has a fancy white belt attached to it. He wonders what that means. I mean, I did not know your size, but I made it adjustable so you can fit it no matter what, and I made it white to match your outfit. Max explains. Try it on. Chad takes the cross by the belt and puts it around his waist. The clasps slide together with ease and securely snap. That clicking noise lets you know that it is locked into place. As long as that is locked, the cross won't be able to fall off without you gripping it on the sides while pulling away from the belt. Max explains. Go ahead and do that now. JF does as instructed, and the cross comes right off. Okay, but why would I need this on a belt? He inquires. Why? Because it's your weapon. Where else would you put it? I thought that was where you kept your other one. Jesus Freak is confused. He looks at the cross inquisitively. Max takes time to explain that the cross is actually the housing for an adjustable meteor hammer weapon. The top of the cross is round because it is the heavy ball at the end of the self-retracting cable inside the cross. Max shows him buttons to control the various functions of the device and has JF to test the functions. He also gives Jesus Freak a lecture about how white is easily spotted and may not be the best choice for a costume. Once JF is familiar with the controls, Max continues his information session to tell JF why the cross is better than the regular meteor hammer. I didn't know what length yours was, but it looked pretty standard, so I just gave you 18 feet of cable inside. Of course, you can adjust it by letting go of the button to any size you feel comfortable working with at the time. Also, I did not know if you used a spike at all, even though it is a popular tip for a meteor hammer, because from what I observed, you try not to kill or hurt anyone too bad. But who knows what you might use it for, so I added the option for the hammer ball to extend a spike from its tip. It's not the exact same as the normal spike, but it is something. The retractor pulls with approximately 250 pounds of pull. That means that it may be able to lift you or pull something to you that is attached to the other end. I mean, so long as you keep a firm grip. I did that so your retractor won't get stuck very often. Or at least it will take a lot to keep it stuck. JF is excited about the gift and now understands why he had to keep his word and show up. He never could have come up with the concept for his new weapon, let alone created and designed the functions that it has. His mask conceals his facial expression, so Max is none the wiser. So what do you think? Max asks. It will take some getting used to, but it is nice anyway. Thanks. Jesus Freak says in that same voice. He turns to leave, but Max stops him. One more thing. I will be trying to think of things you might need and making them from now on, so check with me from time to time to see if I have something for you. Max hands JF his card and adds, "Oh yeah, JF, and if you have any ideas of what kind of weapons and such you might need, just call me up, and I will see what I can do. You saved my business." It turns out that I had forgotten to make my payment on my business insurance, and it had lapsed. If they had gotten away, I would have been ruined. I owe you my livelihood. Speaking of which, my livelihood is making special order weapons and accessories. Don't hesitate to call if you need something. No charge, man. No charge. Oh yeah, I forgot, take this too. He hands JF a bag full of quick tie cuffs with crosses inscribed on them. If you will notice, I made notches in the back of the belt that can hold these quick tie cuffs for you. Max reveals. He shows Chad how to clip them on and take them off. He gives JF the whole bag. Chad takes the cuffs and his new belt and weapon and leaves. He thinks about it, and all his reservations about the meeting came out to be nothing. JF climbs the rope of his old meteor hammer to get back to the top of the roof. Once there, he retrieves his meteor hammer. With this taken care of, he is now free to go back to fretting over telling Karen what he has been up to.